Hello, everyone. My name is Dennis.
I'm Andrew.
We are the Crafty Lumberjacks. Thank you for being here today. Today, we are going to be making these DIY crepe paper crocuses. Really pretty. They last all year long, which is why we love them, especially. Really easy to make, but there are a lot of steps today in this class. So we're going to do our best to kind of push through, but also being very clear about the steps. We might have time for 1 or 2 flowers. Obviously, we have 3 here, but of course, you can pick as many as you'd like.
Yes, and if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Kayla is there to help, and we're going to try to be on top of that as much as we can as well.
Yes, thank you for being here this holiday weekend. Happy holidays.
Yes.
We teach these live classes every month for Fiskars with Michaels. We have a class coming up on May 9th, which is going to be really fun. We're doing this 3D watercolor quill art. Really pretty here. And that is on the Michaels website. So you can register for that already for May 9th. And then over the summer, we start with our kids series. And we're starting in June with these little DIY snow cone garland that we're going to make.
These really are cute. So cute, very family friendly, but also they're great if you are an older adult like us. So join us for that, please. We also have a giveaway if you are watching live right now. That's going to be at the end of the class, so stay tuned for that. And should we dive in?
I think we should.
All right, Rich, do you mind switching the camera?
All right, so we're going to be working with crepe paper. This is basically a material that's found at all craft stores. Even some people will use crepe paper party streamers for some crafts. It's kind of the same material.
But this one is considered lightweight crepe paper. You can find this at michaels.com. We're using 3 different colors today. We're using a green, a cream, and a white. This is really nice. If you can see, there is a grain to the crepe paper. And we're going to be talking a lot about that because there are specific things that the grain needs to be with, and then specific things that the grain needs to be against. And the reason is because of a stretch. So when it's against the grain, the crepe paper stretches a little bit. When it's with the grain, it doesn't stretch at all. So when we talk about that, that's what we mean. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to watercolor our crepe paper. First, we're going to cut everything down to size. Now, if you are crafting with us, the watercolor does take some time to dry. So this might be a step that you want to skip. If you want to, you could use markers instead. However, it is going to take a little bit of time to dry, and we do have some swap outs for that.
Yeah, so Michael sells these great little watercolor doodads. And they're really great because they last for such a long time. Wide variety of different colors to choose from. A palette.
There it is. There it is.
Palette. We've had the same one for about 7 years, maybe even longer.
Yeah.
And we use it all the time. So for our petals, I'm going to be using the white crepe paper. I'm just going to cut it down to size. You want about 5 petals per flower that you make today.
So our goal is to make 2 flowers. So I think a piece like this should work just fine.
You can kind of see the petals here.
And actually, before we start, this is something I wanted to talk about real quick. In the class, we're going to be making the petals, the stamen, which is right in here, where all the pollen is. These leaves, we're going to be wrapping our flowers. We're also going to be making the bulb and the roots. So we're going to start cutting out our paper for multiple pieces and watercoloring those.
Yes, we are. And then, so I'm using the white crepe paper for my petals, and then I'm going to be using a cream piece of the crepe paper. And again, use what you got. This is just what we're doing. You don't have to do these same things. And I'm just going to cut it down. So I cut 1 piece of the white crepe paper, and now I'm cutting a white piece of the cream crepe paper. Oh, these are tongue twisters. If you're an actor out there, this is a great warm up for you. We are using crepe paper. We are using the Fiskars silicone mat, which will be a part of our giveaway today. One of our favorite things that they have. And this is great because it protects your surfaces, cleans up really well. We use this when we're hot gluing, when we're painting. You can kind of see it has a long history here.
So you want a nice long piece or big piece for your petals. And then I think Dennis is going to cut this right in half.
Yeah, and I'm going to show because for the bulb, we are going to be wrapping our cream piece over a piece of styrofoam, a styrofoam ball. So I just want to make sure that this fits around the styrofoam bulb before I cut it. And then I'm going to use the remaining piece for my, to create the
stamen.
The John stamen. So I have my 3 pieces cut here, and I'm going to start watercoloring. I'm using a variety of different pinks and purples for my petals. You know, watercoloring, I'm sure you've done it before in the past here. And we can make it kind of sloppy. You don't have to make it that nice. This is just to give it a little texture, a little additional color and coverage.
You know, they sell so many different colors of crepe paper. You can find pinks, purples. So if you want to skip this step and you haven't bought your materials, you could very easily buy a color and just not do anything to the crepe paper. You could also use markers.
Let me show this one so you can kind of see what the vibe we're going for. So again, you don't have to do anything. It's not lines or, you know, you don't really have to think about it too much. It's just kind of just giving random kind of, you know, watercolor coverage.
Yeah, what I like about this part is that it's really, it's up to you how you want to do it. You could even cut your petals out and then add a little bit of a watercolor detail on the tips of the petals if you would rather. It's really up to you. Here's one that we tried with some markers right here, which came out really nice. You ever see those crocus that have these beautiful stripes? Something like that is gorgeous. But it's really about just adding a little pop of color. And what Dennis is doing is perfect. It's just going in random spots because when you cut out the petals, you're not going to see the big picture. You're going to just see little bits of it.
Yeah, you can kind of see it here.
Yeah.
You know, same diff there.
And I like how there's like some white areas too, as you can see with these flowers we have here. That just adds some interest. So don't feel like you have to give full coverage. That was not a roast to you, Dennis.
Oh,
I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it.
Andrew actually designed, conceptualized, and figured out this project on his own one day. I'm so proud of him. And even this morning, he was kind of breaking it down and showing me. So I'm a newbie too.
Well, as a newbie, I would say, hurry up.
Oh my gosh, am I going too slowly? Sorry.
Oh my, he's like having the best time watercoloring.
Now, while you're watercoloring, you want to paint with all the colors of the wind, and you want to do it on the front and the back. So you can let this dry, push this to the side just a little bit.
I even think you could just turn it, flip it right over.
Let me try it just to see.
You know,
but of course, you don't want your crepe paper to rip. Which great about crepe paper is that it's really sturdy. So even though that it's kind of, you see it's getting wrinkly caliente here, that's okay because it will dry and be solid again. Okay, Andrew says I'm going too slow, but you get the point.
Great.
You get the point. So I'm going to move on to my bulb, which of course we want it to be earth tones, brown, dirty. So, you know, we're using brown and gray watercolors. Again, making it kind of sloppy and rough. You don't have to be too careful with this. You know, you want it to look very, oh, I did the wrong piece. Sorry.
That's okay.
The bigger piece. So the bigger piece that's going to wrap around your styrofoam ball. You just want to take it and make it a little dingy, dirty, using different colored grays and browns, maybe even a little dark green. That's a little dark. I would say go a little lighter, but again, you do you, and everything looks great for this project.
Actually, I was going to say the watercolor actually dries a little lighter than you expect. Now, for the bulb, you only really have to paint one side because you wrap it, unlike the petals where you see it inside and out. You don't see that with the bulb. So that's the good part about the bulb. And like Dennis said, sloppy is the way to go. And don't worry about the corners because we're actually going to be ripping those to give it a nice textured look. That's the thing with any craft, really. You want to think of color and texture. And what I love about this craft is that there's so much texture with the crepe paper, with the watercoloring. So it really is just so gorgeous.
Yeah. And actually, I love watercoloring because I think it's really forgiving. You know, if you have something that I don't like, the brown there was too dark, so I just put a little extra gray over it to kind of mute it out. But again, you know, it all looks good. So you don't have to stress too much about this.
So, guys, Beth has a question and a comment. She said she let her staff go early today so that she could spend time with you guys.
Oh my gosh, Beth, thank you.
She has a question. She's wondering if you use watercolor markers, would you just maybe spritz it with water or would you use your paintbrush? Could you use watercolor markers?
I think you could
Yeah, I think
absolutely
so.
use watercolor markers, Beth. I'm not. I think you could spritz it or you could just add water. What's really great, you are going to get this texture with the crepe paper no matter what. So I think however you go, it will work. I'm not sure if that's really answering your question, but I think watercolor markers would actually be a really great way to incorporate watercolors in these, especially if you already have them or not. And like I said, it might be a great idea too to cut out all your leaves first and then do the marker with the watercolor, because that's kind of a benefit of using the watercolor markers. They're really great with detail. And thank you, Rich, for letting us know. We are trying to stay on the chat. We usually have two computers, but one is just taking the holiday.
Yeah. And I'm not paying for a new one. Okay. For the stamen now here, I'm on the smaller piece of the cream crepe paper, and I'm just giving it a light coating of yellow.
And you know, this is really optional. You do not have to do, especially for the stamen. We just think it adds a little pop, and markers would work really well. We're actually going to do a little marker detail to the stamen after we, right before we cut it or right after. So that's great. Wow, Dennis, these look fabulous.
You sure? Because early on you said they didn't.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding. He's rushing me here today. Okay, so now I'm going to move on from the watercoloring. So we watercolored our pieces. We're going to set them to the side and let them dry. And I'm going to move on to some of the green aspects of our little crocuses here, which are, like Andrew said, it's the stem. We have these little almond shapes here to help mask the area here where the wire meets the flower.
Yeah.
And then our leaves. So I'm going to start with that. So I'm using the Fiskars paper trimmer. Not only does it cut paper, it cuts crepe paper.
And this is great too because you don't need a paper trimmer for this. You could use it. I think it's definitely helpful. Or you could use a pair of, scissors for it as well.
Absolutely. And for these leaves, the long leaves here that you see here, I'm just cutting really thin strips with the grain. Okay, for those leaves, I'm going up to the one marking. I love these trimmers because, they have everything marked out. It's really easy to see where you're cutting. Gives you a nice clean cut, really thin here.
That's beautiful.
So nice. So I'm going to do about 5 of those. And the paper trimmer will be a part of the giveaway today. This is one of our favorite tools, and we use this all the time for every holiday. We have a few different paper trimmers.
Yes, I was actually at Michael's today, and they had, I think, 3 different paper trimmers. And they're actually on sale this week. I saw, which is great. But we love a paper trimmer. We use it so often. And what I love about the paper trimmers too is they're really compact, making it very easy to store if you don't have a lot of storage. It makes it very easy to store. So love a paper trimmer.
Love a paper trimmer.
All right.
So how many do you think I need? Just
I think
like
that's great.
5, 6. Again, this is all you can get as creative as you want with this, as many leaves. Maybe your crocuses have 90 leaves. Who knows?
That's a
lot of leaves.
Yeah, that's a bushy crocus. I like it.
Watch
too.
your mouth.
I like it too because this craft, because like Dennis said, you can really, make it as you want. So here we have 3 flowers to 1 bulb. We're going to make one today that has 2 if we can get there. That was not a read. That was not a read.
Oh, now for you see, Andrew, even though we're using green stem wire for this,
yes,
we are going to wrap it just because for us it's all about those extra details and layers. So we are going to do a crepe paper wrapping around our wire once we get there. So I'm actually going to cut some thin strips now going against the grain that we're going to use to wrap our wire once we get to that point.
And again, the reason we are going to go against the grain is because it'll give us some stretch. So have you ever used that floral tape? I have to say, I do not like floral tape. And that's
floral?
You have to
sorry, I keep doing the double.
The thing I don't like about floral tape is I find it a little hard to use. You do have to kind of heat it up a little bit so like the wax. Yes, it is a pain. So the wax kind of adheres. What I like about this is it's going to kind of be similar, but it is kind of easier to work with.
I'm going to try to fold
Oh,
it.
yes.
How large would you like these?
I would like it a little thinner than that.
Thinner.
Like this one is perfect right here.
Okay. Wow, look at that. Even through the layers, you can cut it.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so Dennis has cut all of those. I'm going to reset.
Wait. Oh, because you want to do the almonds?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You're going to cut another one? Sure.
Yeah, how many do you need?
I would cut 3 just to be safe.
Oh, I keep doing that.
Great. And here I'm going to show you up close so you can see it's against the grain. So, sorry, it's having a little hard time focusing on my hand, but you can see it's like short little, there it goes. There it goes. And will you show how it stretches a little?
Oh, sure. But isn't it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, there. You see it's
That's
almost like
basically floral tape.
it is basically, yeah. It has like a nice elasticity.
Look at you with the big words.
I don't even know if I said that right.
And I'm just going to cut you a small little piece so you can make your almonds.
Oh my gosh, I get to do something.
I know it seems like a lot with all this cutting and stuff, but I'm hoping that it will make things easier. So when we start to build our crocuses, we just have the pieces ready to go.
I actually really appreciate that because when I'm, it's easier, I think, to kind of prep everything and then go for it. So like Dennis showed, we are going to create these little almond shaped pieces. So they do not need to be perfect in any sense. So I'm going to even try, oh my gosh, I'm going to fold it 4 times.
I don't think we told you, but usually we are coming to you live from Astoria, Queens, New York City. But today we're actually in DC visiting family. So if you're seeing stuff new, different lighting, different
yeah, if you're like, where are you?
It's because we're designers, we're making it work.
So I just folded my paper a few times just to go through, and of course the Fiskars scissors cut so well through it. It's
Beth said, how are the pets getting along? They're not.
So for those of you who don't know, we are in DC, like Dennis said, visiting family, but taking care of my parents' dog, and we have a cat, and
we brought the cat down.
The cat does not love the dog.
No.
Is basically what it is.
But they're around each other a lot. Just ran to count leaves on my crocus. Oh my gosh, we got a crocus counter here.
Oh, let's know.
See,
I think there might be
4 to 7.
4 to 7. Okay, we did 5. I think you do whatever you want, but that is so good to know. Okay, I'm going to place those here. So we have our little almonds. We're calling these our almonds. We have our paper leaves, and then we have our floral wraps.
Amazing.
Should we finish these paper leaves or should we just go for it?
Sure, yeah, do the paper leaves.
Well, how much time do we have? Okay,
we're doing good.
We're doing good. So to finish, just to finish these off, and I know this is your job usually, Dennis, or was once, we're just going to add a nice pointed tip to them.
Can I just clean this up a little?
Oh, thank you. There's always one clean crafter and one...
I'm the clean crafter.
I'm the messy crafter.
We've gotten to the habit of whenever Andrew's crafting, I take the trash can from the bathroom and I set it right next to him. Because if I don't, there somehow all the leftover pieces and scraps get everywhere.
That's so nice of you.
So I'm like, uh-oh, Andrew's crafting. Get the trash can.
How are these looking?
Those look so good.
I'm going to do one more because no one needs to see this for 20 minutes.
And I think we already mentioned, but the lilac scissors, one of our favorites to use for the spring. We actually use these all year long, but we do like seasonal scissors. And these scissors, they came out with them a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe.
2 years.
Will be a part of the giveaway today.
You know what I like about these? You can use them around Halloween too. I feel like they're just very versatile. Okay, so then we added a little detail to our leaves just with a ruler and a paint marker. You want to just try to find the center and then... There we go. That was a little off center.
Yeah, that's okay.
But that's okay. You know, all these details, sometimes I'm a slower crafter if we're talking about different types of crafters. I'm a bit of a slower crafter. And in the end, I'm always like, I focused on details that you don't even notice. So something like that you will never notice. Now you can do both sides of the leaf if you want as well. I'm going to do one more. And then we have some swap outs.
Yes, and Rich just mentioned, if you missed any of these classes, or if you even want to go back and see some of our previous classes, we have all of the steps and the instructions listed on our blog, craftylumberjacks.com, or Michael's has an entire YouTube channel where they share all these live classes. So whether you want to see our class or someone else's classes, they have a bunch of tutorials on their YouTube channel. And like Rich mentioned, this will be posted on their YouTube channel probably by this weekend.
Okay.
Just in case there's a step you missed or you want to revisit it, or, you know, get crafty with your family and friends, you can just have the video as a reference there.
Okay, we're going to move on to the petals. How you doing, Dennis?
Great.
That's wonderful. So for the petals, we're going to be making a shape that looks like this. I have tried to think of it as almost like, I think of it almost like a deflated balloon is my newest
I'm getting
thought.
a little light bulb.
Oh, a light bulb. Where were you when I was writing the blog post? But you can cut out a template or you can cut it by hand. I'm just going to cut out a template. Let me see. I have a pencil here. So you want to think of kind of like an oval. I will just start with an oval with a little light bulb.
It looks like a vintage Christmas light.
Oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? And then I think it's nice with a little bit of a rounded, I'm going to say almondy again, like an almond style.
I've never heard this guy say almond more than he has in the entire time we've been together than today.
And I have to say, I love almonds.
I love almonds too. We got these smoky mesquite almonds, and they're so good.
I know. They've lasted us a long time too. I'm going to use this one that I did earlier. Okay, so now I'm going to just take my the watercolor paper that is nice and dry. And as you can see, there is a lot of texture to this, which is a-okay. If you don't like that, you could even iron it, but you can even just take your hand and just massage it a little bit. You'll see most of the wrinkles start to come out. And I'm just going to start to...
Oh, Tracy said, did we make a statement about the weights of the crepe paper? The green paper looks heavier than the white.
Tracy, so the green crepe paper is a little heavier. I can look it up in a bit, but the white is a little bit lighter. You're right. And the green does feel a little heavier. Where are my scissors?
Yeah, I think though for, you use what you got, you use what they have.
And, if you look up floral crepe paper at michaels.com, I believe this is Leah Griffith. Her paper, she does beautiful flowers as well.
Do we have to use that kind of paper? No, you don't have to use this kind of paper. We like this paper for this project just because, again, like we said, it gives it a more realistic vibe. It gives it more texture, more depth. But you can totally do this with cardstock, computer paper, construction paper. You might not get the same look or effect, but of course you can do that.
We did, I forget what they're called. The flowers we did with cardstock a couple years ago. Those purple ones, you remember that?
The hyacinth.
That was really pretty. And that was all cardstock. But I do like crepe paper. But if you can't find it, I think you could absolutely use what you have. That's the greatest thing about crafting in general. A lot of people will craft with us during our classes, and they're like, I didn't have everything, but I made this. And I'm always like, wow, that came out sometimes better than ours. And you just use like things you already had.
That's our niece and nephew. They'll like come up with the craziest things. And we're like, how did you do that?
Know. Okay,
they're already becoming famous influencers and content creators. We're like, what?
I know. Kids these days. Sheesh.
I'm like, we paved the way for you. I want 10%.
I butchered this one. But you know what? The greatest thing about these leaves, or these petals, excuse me, is that they do not have to be perfect. Like this one is looking a little teeny. That's okay.
Yeah, and I think when you start to kind of build your flower out,
you're going to notice that these little things don't matter. Sorry, I kind of
sorry, you can adjust it. You can adjust the shape or kind of just
Absolutely.
give it a trim, give it a little haircut if you need to.
Now, if you are tracing or using I used a pencil to trace mainly because I didn't want to see the lines. But when you're cutting, really think about trying to cut inside the line so you don't see it. It's just a little detail.
Wait, can you say that again?
If you traced your petals,
oh, okay. So
try
there's
to
no
cut
pencil
inside,
marks.
just so you, Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1. Oh gosh, okay.
Yes. Oh, we got a good comment here about Mother Nature. Let me see. And Earth Day is around the corner. Mother Nature does not make perfect flowers, so it looks more natural if there are irregularities.
Yes, I love that.
Yes, Teresa, I completely agree. And you know, Mother Nature does not make any mistakes. So if they want it to be like that, that's how it is. She's the boss. I don't know why the chat doesn't stay.
You know, I'm finding I just did a mistake, or you really do. It's not a mistake. There's no mistakes, but you do want to try to cut everything with the grain. I'm sorry if I did not say that earlier. It's not a huge deal, but you do want to try to have the grain going the direction of the petals. This way, I'm going to show you, you can kind of fan them out a little bit.
It has a little stretch.
It has a little
The
stretch.
other way.
I'm so sorry. I know I've been cutting for about 4 or 5 minutes and I didn't mention that. So if anyone's crafting along and you're cursing me right now, I am so sorry. But that is something you kind of want to be aware of.
Yeah,
just so
I don't think it's a deal breaker though.
I don't think it's a deal breaker either, but it was in my mental notes and I completely forgot. Okay.
All right. If you're just joining, I see people popping in. Andrew's just cutting the petals of our flowers right now. We did watercolor technique on the crepe paper. We're using 3 different types of crepe paper: white, cream, and green. Every flower, every crocus is going to have 5 petals. Tina thinks our petals are gorgeous.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you.
You know, as I'm cutting, I always kind of say this, I'm turning the paper more than the scissors. That just helps me get cleaner, rounded edges. It's easier to turn this hand than the scissor itself. Wait, so how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute. Okay. I have 2 more. Oh, we got the cleaning police. No, I agree. It's nice to have a cleaner space, especially when you're teaching. It's a little tricky.
Too late.
And another tip, if you're kind of cutting like me, I've been going back and forth from tracing on and just putting the template on and cutting it out. I actually think this is a little easier, but to cut down your paper a little bit first, it makes it easier to cut. Okay, 1 more leaf. I'm sorry,
gosh.
petal.
Oh, yeah.
One
This
more
guy
petal.
rushing me about the watercoloring, and here he is, taking up 90 minutes for... It'd be pretty to use pale crepe paper.
Oh, it would be so pretty.
And watercolor with a different... Oh, gosh, I can't see what that says.
It says it'd be pretty to use pale crepe paper with watercolor with a different color.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think, your color, your choice.
I like that. I think it's and you can really kind of have it for your aesthetic at home.
Right, what matches the vibe. So then we said we were going to do the
stamen. Okay, so we have our greens ready. We have our leaves and the wings.
We have our almonds.
Now we're going to work on our stamens. Actually, I have one here for you. You can use this one, and I have this kind of pre-cut for you, just so you know. You see the 2 cuts?
Yes, I do. Okay. So for the stamen, that's the center of the flower here. You see that little...
Can we use acrylic markers? Absolutely,
tentacles.
You can use acrylic markers. Here is one. Well, I'm thinking acrylic meaning kind of like a what is that called? not washable, permanent marker, excuse me. This was done with that. So you could definitely do something like that for sure. So you want about, I don't know, that's probably about like 2 inches by 1.5 inches, something like that. You do not need to be too careful. As you can see now, Dennis is just cutting some fringe.
Yes, and actually Fiskars sells great fringe scissors, which would be fun to use for this. And this is actually the perfect size of a crepe paper party streamer, but because we got the real deal, we're just making our own here. And I'm just gonna cut it. I forget, did you twist this one or no, you didn't twist these?
But you're gonna
okay.
want to add the detail first.
Correct. I guess I could have done that before this.
I'm misting some of my petals with mica sprays. Wait, I keep using this. How many with mica sprays instead of coloring with watercolors? And I'm digging it. I love that. I would love to see it after too. If you have stuff to share, did you already say this? Do make it with Michael's. I know Rich actually just posted about that, but I would love to see that. How many petals for each flower?
5.
5.
All right. So now I'm just taking a marker.
You can go all the way.
We did an orange at home, but we forgot our orange marker at home, and all we could find was a pink.
It looks orange to me.
So we're using a pink, and I'm just coloring in the tips here. Are you supposed to do both sides?
Yes. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And you could do this before you cut it. It doesn't. It's up to you.
Yeah, looking back.
Looking back
on the things I've done. I should have colored the tips first.
It's more fun this way. It looks like a little matchbook.
Oh my gosh, it does. And now to get the effect that we have, we're just going to twist these. And actually, this is going to be a similar technique that we're doing for our roots. You just want to give it a little twist. The peppermint stamen twist here.
Let me see. Can you do it like that?
Yeah. Sorry.
Can we use crayons? Absolutely. I bet it'd be really pretty with crayons. You'll probably get a really nice texture with that.
And try to go all the way down just so you get like a nice tight twist. But again, this is like, details that, Meryl Streep would add to her flowers.
You mean details?
Details.
But I like that. I think this craft is all about the details.
Yeah, that's what makes it, really stand out.
I'm actually going to put the phone down. Let me see if I can.
Sure.
And I'm going to try to do this one here.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to try to get through 2 flowers. We're doing our best, people.
How many leaves for each flowers? So there's 5 petals for each, and then it depends on how many leaves, like these green leaves you want. You can do, we're doing, I think, 4 or 5 for bulb with 2 crocus flowers in them.
This sounds like a, what is that called? Like a bidding thing. 5, 2. Do I hear 9?
But that's like the great thing. It depends on how you want to do it as well. So if you want no leaves,
this looks like a little hula skirt. No, not what is it called?
Yes,
grass skirt.
Yeah,
like a little grass skirt.
That's very cute. Okay. So just to look at what we have. We have our stamen, our petals, our greens, and I think we're ready to start building
our flower.
So we're going to be using these fabric covered wire stems that we found at Michael's. And I don't know, let me see. What I love about this mat too is it has a ruler here. So, maybe about 12 inches, 11 inches might be good. I would say always err on the side of longer because you can always cut it down. I love these Fiskars pliers because they're very comfortable to use. So we use these a lot around the holidays. And I'm going to make this one just a little smaller.
Are they a part of the giveaway?
They are a part of the giveaway today.
Wow.
I know. You do want I think it's nice with these, especially if they're in a group, to have like a little bit of a
size difference.
Yeah, you kind of want them not equally sized.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dennis, do you want me to be attaching this? I can do it.
Correct.
Great. So we're going to take one of our wires And now we're going to add the stamen. So we're going to use...
we're using hot glue to build our flower here. So you can plug in your hot glue guns if you haven't yet. You don't have to use hot glue. We just are rolling that way because of time, but also it's, you know, the most secure glue when making something like this. I also
just feel like I like the instant grab. So I added a little dab of glue right there, and then I'm just going to roll the stamen. And if you want, you can kind of roll down just to give it a little bit of some are a little different heights. You know what I'm saying?
This is giving me Stranger Things.
From grass skirts to Stranger Things. Who knew? And then I'm just going to...
Do we have to use a wire because I don't have one? You don't have to use a wire. You can use, if you have a wooden skewer or something like that.
Oh yeah, a skewer would work really well.
You know, I guess you could just make it without
probably
a stem,
if you have one in a drawer. I feel like there's always... I guess I'm going to do this one too, right?
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Okay. So again, I'm taking the stamen, I'm just adding a little bit of glue, and then I'm wrapping it
towards the top of the wire.
And then I'm just adding a little bit of glue to seal the deal. Okay, now we're going to move on to our petals.
We're doing good, 440 almost.
Okay, perfect. So again, what we love about these, the crepe paper is that it stretches. Oops. So you can give it a little bit of a stretch. Don't be zealous. You don't want to stretch and rip, but it's great. So I'm going to start with...
It's great.
It's great. So I'm going to, what I'm looking for is the stamen to be kind of at the tippy top, because you really do want it to, you want to see your work. So I'm going to start with one. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue right here to my petal, the bottom part of the petal. That's why you make that little flat light bulb area. And I'm going to do 3. So I'm going to do 1.
Very pretty.
And then I'm going to do another one. Think of these almost equally spaced in thirds. So I'm not going to go straight across. I'm going to go kind of right there. Let me add a little bit of glue. I don't know, when you're crafting and you're gluing things, sometimes I'm like, I never know, where should I put the glue? Do I put the glue on the petal, or do I put it on? So if I'm switching it around, it's just because I'm figuring it out.
Do we have to make a bulb? No, you don't have to make a bulb. We're going to be showing how we did the bulb part. But again, it's your craft. You can make it
absolutely. If you're going to put this in a vase, you know, in an arrangement, there's no reason to make the bulb. So if you're going to put this in a vase that's opaque or you're not going to see it, like, definitely don't make the bulb. So as you can see here, I have 3 that are evenly spaced. Can you see that?
I can.
Great. And then I'm going to add 2 more just where these 2 meet, on this side and then on this side. So I'm going to almost center.
Thank you, Beth. It looks so pretty.
I'm going to center the middle.
Yeah, it's kind of like crazy when you see a craft start to come together.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you know, then all of a sudden it all kind of makes sense.
You're like, oh, yeah. So I'm going to do it right in the center of these 2. Is that making sense for everybody? The placement?
Yeah, you're doing like a layering technique, starting with the 3 across from each other and then filling in the gaps.
So again, I'm manipulating the flower.
Just giving it a little stretch.
See how beautiful that really does look like a petal, doesn't it? And then adding a little bit of glue. Looking for that center right here.
Oh wait, can you show that part?
Looking for that center.
So see, it's kind of like right there.
And I'm going to place it right in the
very middle. White lotus.
But you know, I'm not worried about how it, if it's a little off, that's okay. Because you're never going to see it. And the great part is when we're done, and you can do it now, but it's probably better when it's done. You can really like manipulate this if you want it open, or you can kind of create it more closed. I love that about crocus because they really, or flowers in general, they really do have such a beautiful shape in so many different ways. I don't know where I was going with that one, but I went with it. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing on the other flower. So I'm starting with 3 petals, evenly spaced to each other. I'm trying to make sure that the stamen is kind of at the top. Is everything
Marsha said,
okay?
I purchased these, but I think I can make them myself. Absolutely.
Absolutely. This is such, and you know what I love about this craft? It's kind of one of those things that once you do it, you kind of get the hang of it. You're like, oh, it's a lot of steps, but it's actually pretty simple. Dare I say simple?
Yeah. A lot of simple steps that result in a big impact.
Oh my gosh,
you know?
that was perfect.
Wow, it's like I do this for a living or something.
Huh, something like that.
I guess you could call it a living.
So here I have my 3.
Very cute.
And I love the silicone mat because you can put your
Hot glue
gun on here. It's not going to stain or ruin your surfaces. So again, I have 3, and now I'm just going to add 2 more. I'm probably going to do one here or here. You really have 3 options, but it's up to you where you put them.
What I love too, it's like, this is great if you're having a craft party. This is great if you're making something for Mother's Day. Really gives it, or has like a really professional look.
Yeah.
I think.
You know, I think for a craft party, this is really great because sometimes people want to have a craft party. They're like, what craft should I make? And a lot of times craft parties or crafts in general, they end quickly. It's like, well, you could paint this canvas and that's kind of
And then
it.
what you do.
This really is like you would teach it as you go. So if you're looking for something where people are really feeling involved, this is a great one. And maybe using the markers or the misting spray like others are doing in the class right now is like an easier way to go so you don't have that dry time. Okay, so we already have 2 gorgeous crocuses. Look how beautiful those are. Croci. Okay, now we're going to add our almonds. Now, like Dennis said earlier, the almonds are really just to break where the wire meets and where the petals meet. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. That was kind of a lot of it.
We should have had our trivia question around almonds.
Oh my gosh. Who knew? Who knew this class would be so almond heavy? Is anyone allergic to almonds?
No, thank God. I love almonds.
I'm not asking you. So I have 2 here. And I'm going to do 1 here.
Yeah, and again, it's just these little details that take it to the next level, you know? Gives it a clean, professional look.
That's nice. It's very nice. Okay, I'm going to do 1 more. Yes, I have 4 for each. That's great.
Do we have Tracy Mellon? Oh, wait, sorry. I keep losing the chat and then...
Oh, that kept happening to me too.
These are turning out so darling. I'm thinking I'll put one of these on each of my guest plate for Easter dinner with the bulb. I love that.
Oh my gosh. Will you please send us a picture?
Yeah, I was thinking too, I was kind of talking about like Mother's Day and stuff. These would really be cute as like a gift accessory. Like, you know, I guess not like a gift tag, but
yeah,
like a little charm.
It could be almost like, yeah, like almost like a little ornament, like a spring ornament you could put on a knob or something. That is so beautiful. I would be like, here, I'm putting these on your plates, but do not take them.
Right, but I'm keeping them.
I'm keeping them.
They're not yours.
No, I mean, that's such a beautiful.
Yes, Deborah said, and no dirt.
And no dirt.
Dirt free. Although we had lunch today and we were sitting outside, there was tons of like flowers and leaves that fell in our lunch. We were already eating vegetables, like so we were like, I guess what's one more source
the petals were in the bowl.
Yes, we're like,
okay.
Why not?
So as you can see how beautiful now, I'm rushing, so I have so many, you know, things. Okay, you want me to keep going, Dennis?
Yes.
Okay, great. So
or
now
why am I supposed to go?
No, I can go. I don't know. I don't really. So now we're going to be using our wraps, what we're calling our wire wraps. That was what Dennis cut. That was against the grain, giving it this nice bungee effect. So I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue and place it right at the tip over here. And
what would be another stamen option? The twisting is not working for me. Oh no.
You know, if the twisting is not working for you, what you could do is you could cut the stamens a little thinner. Thank you.
Yeah, and not worry about twisting them.
I got all this glue here. That is going to bother me, but that's okay. How are we doing on time?
We have 15 minutes.
Oh, good gracious. Okay, so I will clear that glue up later. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue here. And then I'm just twisting down because I want to make sure we get to like the roots.
Of course.
Sometimes when you rush things, sorry. I'm going to cut this off. It's just the glue. It needs a second to dry, and I'm feeling.
It's okay. Take your time. Oh, someone mentioned making the strips bigger so that it will kind of not take as much time. So yeah, absolutely. I do think when it's smaller, it will give a cleaner look because it's kind of like an overlapping thin.
Where are these others?
Andrew's panicking.
I'm like,
Andrew's
oh God.
panicking.
No, I'm just gonna glue this down. And I have to say, I made this one better. The almonds are a little closer to the wire. These are a little higher. You do want them closer to the wire just so it covers up a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yes. But I also think in the world of screens, I think you're good to just make it happen, dear.
Yes. Okay. So now, as you can see, Dennis, wait, you're not. There you go. I'm just going to twist.
Oh, yes. They mentioned tape. Yeah, we were kind of talking about the floral tape and all that. We find it difficult to work with the floral tape. So that's why Andrew chose to use
and
this
and
instead.
another reason I chose to use this instead was because I really didn't want to buy something else.
Yeah.
You know, you're already buying the crepe paper, which, you know, why not use it as much as you can if you don't need to buy it? But yes, you could absolutely, if you have that floral tape, which I feel like we always have some. And then I'm like, is this even working anymore? Now, if you don't get to the bottom, don't worry, because it's going to be covered up, but you want to get most of it. And then I'm going to go again, just twisting and turning.
And also it's like these wires are floral, like it's string wrapped wires.
Yes.
So you don't really need it. Again, we just think it elevates the project.
I do find that the string, the cloth wrapped wires also help hold this down a little bit easier than just a floral wire.
Right.
Or a floral stem.
Together. Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to just do this. Okay.
The colors of the petals are screaming spring.
Spring. Okay, so we have our two done.
How
beautiful.
I have the tape, but I give crepe paper a try. Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to move on.
We're all learning together.
We're going to move on to our bulb. And, you know, I just feel that this bulb is a little big. This was the smallest I have. Here's a great tip. If you don't like it, just smush it down.
Squeeze it. Did you know this? This is a hot, crafty pro tip.
Yes, I also think if you want to have like a flatter, I don't know how much that will do because there's going to be roots, but let's just say if you're working on a project, you can flatten it yourself. I mean, it's not anything huge here, but.
Yeah, and you could just shrink down these styrofoam balls so easily.
Okay, so we ready?
We're ready.
Okay, so I'm going to add these two right inside, and I'm going to give it some hot glue. Low temp is better so it doesn't melt the styrofoam ball, but that's okay. And here we go. Isn't that just great? And then we're going to add our leaves. So I'm just going to take my leaves and I'm going to, I'm just going to glue them to the bottom. Now, if I forget, don't let me forget. I want to show you a tip on zhuzhing the leaves. Zhuzhing the leaves, everybody.
Another pro tip here from Andrew.
To zhuzh the leaves. Okay.
How many? We got the official crocus counter.
I had some saved. I had some saved.
Yeah, I had it. I'm using.
There's a method to my madness.
Prove it.
I'm gonna do. I think. Is there any others that look good? Is this? Good?
Oh, you don't think they look good?
I cut them, and there were a few that were.
It's all about the zhuzh.
It's all about the zhuzh, everybody.
You know, it's all about the zhuzh. What is a styrofoam? It's like a plastic crunchy material. People use it for packaging and stuff like that. For crafting, we're using the styrofoam balls. So really malleable, flexible, easy to work with.
Now, if you don't have a styrofoam ball, you know what you could use? A piece of crumpled up
paper, tissue,
some leftover
paper
crepe
towel,
paper, even. Okay, so this is
napkin.
Great. So I have mine here, and now we're going to work.
Same technique as statements for almonds.
Oh my God, we have to go, Dennis. We have to go.
Okay, go, bro, go.
Okay, so I'm going to take my
modeling clay.
I'm going to take my my brown for the bulb, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip it. This is going to give me a nice texture. So I'm going to go all the way around and rip it. That is perfect. And then I'm going to crumple it. I'm going to crumple it. We're looking for texture here, everybody. We're looking for texture. Now I have another piece of the white crepe paper, and I did the same. I ripped it and I crumpled it. And I'm actually going to first wrap this around the leaves, but let me just make the roots first. So what I'm going to do for my roots, do I look anything over here? Okay, I'm going to use this. You can take a piece of scrap of the, what is this? The beige, what do we call it? The cream. And you're going to just cut some fringe into it, different sizes. And then the trick is to cut some halfway. This is going to give your roots really something to root about.
That was good. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And then you're just going to manipulate.
Yeah. So we're doing the same twist technique here for the roots.
For the roots. Now, what I did when I did it in half, it kind of gives you that like split root. It just kind of looks like there's more happening than just one strip. Do you see that? That's like a nice little detail. I love that little detail. And I have some here that are done. So now we're going to put everything together and then we're done. So I'm going to take the center of the bulb. I'm going to cut a little slit and I'm going to add my roots down to it.
Can you just show that?
Sure. So
yeah,
a slit. I'm just
very Stranger Things. Or what's that other one with the mushroom people?
Oh, The Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
So I'm going to add a little bit of glue. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit of glue and I'm just going to glue it right to the styrofoam ball.
But you forgot the wrap.
Yeah, I'm just going to do this part and then I'm going to wrap it. So right now I have the roots down here. You want to just make sure it's nice and glued. And then the wrap, let me see. So the wrap is really easy. What you're going to do is just literally wrap it. It just adds this really nice detail. And what I like is that it does not need to be, I like that it's crunchy. It's not perfect. It's just giving like almost like a, just very natural looking. You can go a little tight. And look how beautiful that is. And then you're just going to take the brown part and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to it and start wrapping that as well. Now, what I love about this craft, we're really just use 3 different colors of crepe paper. You could even get away with using 2 different colors of crepe paper, but I love that we didn't need too many materials for this. Is this hard to see?
It's okay.
And then look.
Oh
Look at that.
my God.
Okay, the zhuzhing. I have time for the zhuzhing. Okay, the zhuzhing with the leaves is take these leaves. See how they're just standing straight up? Take your hands, your fingers, and then just
give it a slight
give it a
curl.
thing. You know when you do that to ribbon? And then it just gives
your hand
this...
is kind of blocking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, I'm going to do one over here. And just take your fingers and lightly go. And it gives it the most perfect bend.
It's like alfalfa.
And then speaking of bend, then you can take your flowers and you can bend them just a little bit if you want. And look at that. In an hour, we created this beautiful crocus. Just how cute is that? Here, you want to go up?
Yeah. Can't really see. And then we completed it in a little vase, a little glass vase.
I have it right here.
With pebbles, just to kind of take it to the next level, which helps kind of, get the whole vibe right.
So you can put it right in, just zhuzh your wires, your roots, and come on.
Where can I hold this? Oh my gosh, so cute. You can't really see, but you kind of see.
Here, we could hold it up right down here.
Wow.
I mean, I just like love this craft so
Jennifer
much.
Barton said, I'm almost done twisting stamen.
I know, sorry, we were rushing for sure. This could have been a 2-hour class and it would have been fast. But it's, take your time with it. You can you know, zhuzh your leaves, push them out a little bit.
Yeah, and again, like
however
we said, you
want.
can do 3, which is our original one. 2, you can even do a single one. We have our crocus counter here, so maybe they can help us, you know, tell how many flowers are usually in a little bunch here.
I love this.
So cute. It looks so great.
I love it.
We are going to do our trivia question now. Rich, if you want to change the cameras. Wow. I'm exhausted. I don't know about you all, but I'm exhausted.
Woo!
And I barely did anything.
I feel so
you did it. Proud
we
of
did
you.
it. We
Proud
did
of
it.
you.
I love these though. I'm so glad you crafted with us today.
Yes,
and
we
watched.
always like to
I
see
love
your
this.
projects. You can DM us, Crafty Lumberjacks, across social media.
Yeah, give us a follow.
Yes,
We would love that.
Again, we have our next class coming up on May 9th. We're going to do our 3D watercolor paper tulip here. So cute.
I love that one. Okay, so for the giveaway, you have to answer the question of the giveaway. You can look it up. It can be wrong. It can be right. You will be entered no matter what. You can send it through craftylumberjacks@gmail.com. You can send it through Instagram, like through a DM message. And the question is, and let's say what we're going to give away. We're going to give away the silicone mat that you saw us working on, the lilac scissors, the pliers that are so comfortable, and
a paper trimmer.
Okay, the question is, what valuable spice comes from the crocus flower? What valuable spice comes from the crocus flower?
This is something we learned today.
Yes. So
yes, thank you so much for being here. Have a great weekend. We hope to see you on May 9th.
Yes.
And happy Easter, happy all the things, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.